Hello, and welcome to the webinar Development and Use of Immersive Technologies for Industries. We will talk about the possibilities of visualization of industrial enterprises using immersive technologies. During the webinar, we will demonstrate examples of virtual twins and illustrate their use for marketing, communications, reporting, knowledge management, and training purposes. We will talk about the development of interactive 3D virtual tours and how they can be used for hosting virtual site visits, organizing presentations at the conferences and exhibitions, running investor roadshows, hosting HR days, and so on. After the presentation, we will invite you to a virtual meeting room where we will be happy to answer your questions. Before we get into the technical issues, let's briefly talk about some of the tools employed by companies for presenting their activities to stakeholders. In the modern interconnected, overpopulated, and overpolluted world, license to operate is becoming a challenge for industrial companies, regardless of where they work and what they do. As perception is considered a reality, companies need to employ new technologies to present a more transparent, engaging, and realistic narrative, which can be understood not just by a selected group of experts, but also by wider audiences. Surprisingly, even the most progressive and technologically advanced companies limit their presentations to basic presentation tools such as PowerPoint or PDF. Despite their convenience and negligible costs, these tools have limited possibilities for visualization. They are primarily designed for conveying information and offer zero interactions. The longer and more complex the presentation, the lower the level of its perception by its recipients. Conditioned by evolution, our brain is hotwired to study surrounding world by looking at the three-dimensional objects placed in the three-dimensional environment. We better understand things when we can see, hear, and interact with them. Over 20 years of experience in organizing online and offline events shows that with the information overload, the quality of information absorption and interpretation is changing. To capture the audience attention and imagination, it's no longer enough to show slides and talking heads like we do now. Viewers expect more action, more visualization, and more interactivity. Creating a fact-based perception of a modern industrial enterprise is not an easy task. To form even the most superficial idea of what a plant or mine looks and does, one needs to see them in person. Otherwise, they will remain an abstract vision which is prone to misunderstanding and misinterpretation. In other words, we can trust what we can see with our own eyes. Even before the spread of coronavirus infection, receiving visitors without disrupting operations and using extra resources has been a challenging task. In current environment with travel restrictions, health and safety issues, organizing physical events and visits to industrial enterprises is even more difficult. So, is it possible to organize presentation and visits to a company or industrial sites remotely? Well, the good news is, thanks to VR and artificial intelligence technologies, companies can now host an unlimited number of visits and presentations and training sessions using virtual twins created in the 3D immersive environment. The other good news is that the development of a virtual twin of a company is not that hard, and the process is very similar to building a website, which makes it affordable and accessible to almost any business. So if your company has a corporate website, creating and maintaining its virtual 3D twin will be fairly straightforward. So let's talk about what a virtual 3D twin is and what it can be used for. Virtual twins are modeled in the three-dimensional environment, enabling users to move around spaces, interact with presented objects. This is how the 3D games are designed using computer graphics and animations. Also, highly immersive and interactive gaming technologies are less suitable for creating virtual twins, as the objective is often to visualize the real objects and not fictional computer models. Moreover, a computer or BIM model often takes days and sometimes weeks to design, while the 360-degree panorama can be shot almost instantly and takes just under 1 hour to process and edit. If required, cloud-based building information models, also known as BIM, or 3D rendered objects, can be integrated into virtual twins. So virtual twins created with the 360-degree panoramas have pre-configured players, which can be easily integrated into the website and do not require additional downloads. This makes them very accessible. So corporate networks, some of the corporate networks, have strict firewalls, and then they can block the virtual twin. That's why when we're using the turn or transversal user relays around NAT service to relay the communications and establish the connection. Turn detects those viewers who have difficulties connecting through the free version and connects them through a relay server. It's like an insurance that only jumps in when there is a problem. So if you think that the use of VR representation of a real project is a novel concept and it's more time to become widely accepted, well, think again. While many believe that virtual and mixed reality is a modern invention, this is not the case. The first known example of virtual reality representations date back to the 1st century before Christ. Panoramic murals and landscapes and buildings have been discovered during excavations of ancient Pompeii. The first use of virtual panoramas for public perception is associated with the English artist Robert Barker, who has built an attraction in 1787 to demonstrate a spherical painting of London. The history of virtual reality using digital imaging commences in 1950s. The first immersive cinema was created by Morton Heilig in 1962. In 1980, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, or DARPA, founded a simulator of war game called Simulation Networking, or SimNet. The evolution of this game has allowed hundreds of soldiers to sit in simulations of tanks, helicopters, and bombers and to test their fighting skills between them, much like it's happening in realistic video games today. The mass scale of use of VR became in 1991 with the advent of the Saga VR helmets. But the real revolution in the development of 3D virtual presentations came after the 360-degree images appeared on Google Maps in 2007 and when Facebook launched a virtual platform for the Oculus gaming helmet in 2016. Virtual 3D twins are best viewed with the VR headsets and computer screens and can be integrated into websites. They can also be presented without an internet on TV panels at the exhibition stands or in the office reception or used for conference on-screen presentations. Virtual 3D twins can be used for many other different purposes. Here are just a few examples. There are 3 things VR does very well: visualization, annotation, and storytelling. It allows you to bring an object or concept into a reality that is otherwise imagined, inaccessible, or difficult to grasp, and can even help to make the invisible visible. So annotation with VR helps guide you through the completion of a task, navigate a new environment, or even provide real-time description of what's happening around you. It also makes new models of storytelling and creates an expression possible with experiencing unfolding in front of you. It changes the way we tell, share, and even remember stories. 3D virtual twins are commonly used for organizing immersive presentations and remote sites, tour visits to factories, buildings, mines, ports, and any other physical places. Rather than limiting your presentation to a slideshow, you could teleport your viewers to your enterprise's digital twin, offer them a more immersive and more engaging experience. Virtual tours can be created in the form of pre-planned scenarios in format used by tour guides. Depending on what tour the viewers take, they can access different scenes and content. A wow effect can be created by using animations such as pre-recorded human guides, offering explanations and prompting to interact with elements the viewers might otherwise miss. Using the 360-degree photo or video footage shot from a drone, we can present a bird view three-dimensional perspective of your site. In real life, you would need to use a plane or helicopter to achieve similar effect. Adding slides, graphs, maps, images, videos, and 3D models make the tour highly educational and very interactive. Companies' histories and projects can be visualized by creating interactive media, featuring photos and videos. The time-lapse panoramas can be included to demonstrate the 24-hour production, so while you're giving your presentation, the day in the panorama will change to night and then back to day. So if you are busy and cannot give a presentation personally, a pre-recorded tour guide can take your viewers through a tour, give an explanation, showing slides, presenting videos, inviting them to send questions that you or your team can respond to later. If your company has a live camera streaming videos around the clock, the live footage can be built into the virtual twin. Live interactive events can be organized using the live guided tour function, and we'll talk about it later. If a company wants to demonstrate interconnected businesses located around the country or anywhere in the world, a matryoshka or the Russian doll presentation may be an ideal solution. So initially, you can create a virtual twin for each business assets and then combine them into a single presentation, which can be controlled with a navigation menu. All assets can be linked to Google Maps and connected to a cloud-based PBX, CRM, live chats, and automated bots and other tools. So these solutions can help companies to build a user base, automate communications, and make them more interactive. Virtual twins can be a powerful complementary tool for visualizing companies' financial statements. By integrating data from the financial reports into the real objects, you can help your shareholders to visualize and appreciate your company's achievements. If you're planning an investor roadshow, a virtual twin can be effectively used for remote and in-person presentations. When meeting remotely, your audience will just need an internet connection and a browser to be teleported to your site and see what it looks like. During or after the presentation, you will be able to ask questions and answer questions using the built-in video call function. After the presentation, you can share the link to your virtual twin with your viewers, allowing them to browse through it in the time which is convenient to them. Using virtual twin for in-person presentation will certainly help you to create a visual narrative which will be much more powerful than just using slides. If you work with multilingual investors, the content and navigation can be created in several languages, which will be saving cost on interpretation while highlighting issues which are important to your language subgroup. If your company employs contractors or temporary workers, you can save the time and resources by organizing a virtual presentation of the site where they will be working. You can also introduce them to health and safety rules by adding training videos and interactive materials. Your employees and guests could take virtual tests using integrated online learning management system. These tests can be simple or complex and divided into stages and modules. There are many other examples where virtual twins can be used, so let's just name a few more. An HR tour of the virtual twin can be used to organize induction to companies' offices, departments, and key personnel. So if you work with universities and students or organize training programs for your employees, a training course and knowledge management system can be built on immersive platform, making it much more engaging and interactive. Virtual twins are often used for audits and inventory management. Virtual showrooms and shops can be created to demonstrate and sell products using an integrated e-commerce solutions. Virtual tours can be easily converted into video files. There are lots of other examples. So for each individual organization, it has individual requirements and needs and objectives. So if you are interested to explore possibilities of creating and developing virtual twin on our platform, please feel free to contact us and arrange the consultation. We create bespoke projects of any complexity, ranging from a single office to a multinational business operating around the world. Typically, a monolingual virtual tour of one site or venue can be completed within 2 weeks. This guideline is applicable only when the navigation, script, audio narrative, and interactive elements such as slides, graphs, 2D videos, and guide recordings are ready. Usually, production doesn't involve travel, as on-site filming is conducted by the locally based filmographers. So the whole process is normally divided into 3 stages. So stage 1 is project description and planning. So after initial consultations, the client should define the parameters of the project and appoint a representative. Normally it's a PR or HR manager who will be involved in the whole planning process and content development and also overseeing the production. The duration of the planning phase depends on the complexity of the project, availability of the content, geographical locations of the sites, crew availability, filming permission, and other factors. All projects are created using panoramic images and videos filmed on the ground level. Occasionally they are done underground as well, all from the air using the 360-degree cameras and drones. As I mentioned before, to save on travel, filmographers and drone operators can be hired locally. We can also rent out a video kit for terrestrial filming and ship it to any destination covered by the international couriers. We will control the filming process and instruct the crew remotely. After receiving and processing the film materials, we move on to design and development stage. Presentations can be completely tailored to match your company's brand and colors. The finished virtual twin can be hosted on our secured service or converted to the format where it can be hosted on the customer's website. In addition, we can generate a virtual twin for offline standalone demonstration, which could be displayed on TV screens and presented at the physical events. So if a customer plans to use the virtual twin for organizing guided live tours, we can add the turned service subscription to ensure the unrestricted access. For those companies active in the mining sector, we can use Minex Forum events in Russia, Central Asia, and Europe to demonstrate the virtual twins. Using our extensive client base, we can assist with promoting the presentations and inviting participants to view them. We also offer turnkey solutions for organizing multilingual online, offline, and hybrid events and creating unforgettable experiences. To expand the global reach, we can promote virtual twins at the 3D virtual exhibitions created by Minex Forum. Each company will have its own virtual booth where, besides the virtual twin, it can also display additional materials such as slides, videos, and so on and so forth. It will also have an integrated virtual room to meet and greet visitors. Each booth can be also linked to additional services such as chatbots, live chats, visitor analytics, lead generation, multi-channel messaging, CRM, PBX integration, and much more. With time, some of the features of your virtual twin might need to be updated or replaced, and we will be happy to help you with this, and terms can be provided upon requests. Costs. Virtual twins can be different in sizes and complexity. So the costs usually are comprised of project planning and management, the on-site filming using specialist equipment, footage processing and editing, designing, programming, digital conversion, web hosting, and then marketing and then promotion. We can provide estimates after initial consultations. As mentioned before, presentations of virtual twins created on our platforms can be conducted both online and offline using built-in interactive functions. Offline presentations can be used, for example, for presenting at the conference, organizing a demonstration at the exhibition booth, as I said before. The presentation files recorded on the stationary computer can be displayed on the TV screen using the built-in browser, and presentations can be controlled with either navigation menu and also the built-in interactive elements. An online virtual twin can be integrated into a company's website and secured by password. Virtual twin presentations can be viewed either using an internet browser or through a VR headset. Virtual twins can be used to organize live guided tours. So before you start the tour, the organizer must activate the session by entering a password and selecting one of the modes. Once activated, guests can join the tour using the provided link. In silent mode, guests can only watch the tour and cannot use their camera and microphone. In presentation mode, guests can request the organizer to activate the microphone and video camera. And in the party mode, microphones and cameras are activated for all participants, and guests can also request full control of the tour. The number of participants in each tour is limited by the organizer's computer and internet connection. To organize online tours for large groups or show interactive elements, we recommend running presentation in a third-party webinar program using the screen sharing function. But after the demonstration, the organizer can share with the participants the link to the virtual tour and invite them to explore it on their own. As mentioned earlier, virtual twins can be used for organizing distant learning and tests using interactive elements. So let's look at two possible scenarios. First one is a quiz. After the presentation, the organizer can invite participants to take part in the quiz integrated into the virtual twin. A quiz can hold an unlimited number of question cards containing text, images, videos, and even 360-degree panoramas. One question can have one or several correct answers. Correct or incorrect answers are highlighted. After answering all questions, the participants can check the results on the screen, as well as download them as an Excel file. If the answers are incorrect, the test can be taken again. After successfully passing the test, the participants can be invited to the next level. Test results can be integrated with a cloud-based examination and certification system. In our case, in our scenario, to test the knowledge, participants are invited to go through a quest. Before they start, they are presented with a built-in task or task list. If required, a stopwatch and score count can be also built into the quest. If the answer is correct, points are awarded. If they are incorrect, they are subtracted. After completing the quest, participants can either repeat it or go to the next level. As in the first case, after answering all the questions, each participant can check the results on the screen, as well as download them as an Excel file. So, to conclude, this presentation covers only a few examples of the use of immersive technologies in real business. Virtual reality is no longer just about the technology, it's about defining experiences that are meaningful and solve challenges which we face. Ability to see, hear, and interact are essential elements of learning and understanding. By creating a realistic version of what they are and what they do, companies can greatly improve perception, build trust, and activate positive changes in the world. As it is impossible to imagine and trust a company which doesn't have websites, soon it will be very hard to trust business which doesn't have its virtual twin. So the technology is available now, so why wait?